The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Coming up, the fight to keep the Dead Sea alive.
I want to see the Dead Sea restored.
Why it's happening and what's being done to save it.
And that touched me, to stand up for it.
Plus, you are what you eat. But what you eat is also how you sleep.
Lots of caffeine is a big no-no when it comes to getting quality sleep.
Hear how changing your diet will get your body ready for bed.
That's really a big part of why people aren't getting enough sleep.
Our series, Protect Your Sleep, continues on today's 700 Club.
Well, welcome, folks, to this edition of the 700 Club. You know, if I'm like some of you, I don't really understand what was wrong with NAFTA. I thought it was a pretty good deal. The president thought it was a terrible deal. So he said, let's blow up NAFTA. Okay. So now he's got a deal with Mexico, but he's leaving out Canada. And I don't think we ought to have a fight with our dear friends to the north because they've been our allies for years and years and years. But because of the deal with Mexico, the S&P 500 has hit a new record on the NASDAQ, and that's what the news is for today. The stock market is booming.
Well, this deal apparently revises and renames President Clinton's NAFTA deal. But as Pat mentioned, one of America's top trading partners, Canada, still hasn't signed on. That doesn't mean they won't, hopefully. Gary Lane has the story.
In an Oval Office phone call with Mexican President Nieto, Donald Trump explained his reasons for renegotiating the North American Free Trade Agreement, including dropping the name NAFTA.
I like to call this deal the United States-Mexico Trade Agreement. I think it's an elegant name. I think NAFTA has a lot of bad connotations for the United States because it was a ripoff. It was a deal that was a horrible deal for our country.
Economists like the Heritage Foundation's Stephen Moore were surprised.
If you had asked me 6 months ago, are we going to get a trade deal with Mexico before Canada, I would have said it was so improbable, but here we are.
The new agreement with Mexico provides zero tariffs on agricultural products. It also requires that 75% of the parts of cars sold in North America be produced in the U.S. or Mexico. 40% to 45% of the parts of cars sold must be made by employees making at least $16 per hour. News of the deal gave an already strong economy a shot in the arm as the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 jumped to record highs. President Trump said negotiations to bring Canada into the new deal should start soon.
If they'd like to negotiate fairly, we'll do that. You know, they have tariffs of almost 300% on some of our dairy products, so we can't have that. We're not going to stand for that. I think with Canada, frankly, the easiest thing we can do is to tariff their cars coming in.
But some economists argue hefty tariffs on cars and other products could lead to a trade war that may only harm a booming U.S. economy.
If you want free and fair trade with a level playing field, let's get the tariffs down. The United States will benefit from that because we already have the lowest tariffs.
Moore and others say the U.S.-Mexico agreement jumpstarts prospects for a negotiated deal with the Europeans and gives an upper hand to negotiations with China. News of the deal comes as the U.S. economy is seeing record low unemployment and rapid growth. The Atlanta Federal Reserve reports the U.S. economy so far in the third quarter is growing at 4.8%, the fastest rate in 20 years. President Trump has criticized the Fed for raising interest rates. Still to be done to keep the economy moving forward, Moore says a wage hike is needed to bring more help to middle-class workers. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Thanks, Gary. It's amazing. The president, he's a negotiator, and he plays tough, and there's a certain amount of bluff and bluster in there, but he seems to be getting his way. It's remarkable. And the big one is China, and the thing that China, it's not a question of tariffs, it's a question of them stealing our intellectual property. If anybody does business in China, they have to give over access to their intellectual property to the Chinese. And this causes trillions of dollars worth of damage to our companies. So that's the tough one, and it's not a question of raising tariffs back and forth. Now, in the Middle East, the Iranians are brandishing weapons again and making noise. In other news, Iran is expanding its reach, and John Jessup has more on that.
That's right, Pat. An Iranian general says his country controls the Persian Gulf and the U.S. doesn't belong there. The head of the Navy for Iran's Revolutionary Guards told the Tasnim news agency, "We can ensure the security of the Persian Gulf, and there is no need for the presence of aliens like the United States." Tehran has said it might stop the flow of oil from the Gulf in retaliation for U.S. sanctions. It could do that by closing the 21-mile-wide Straits of Hormuz, where an estimated 17 billion barrels of oil ship through the straits every day. The U.S. keeps a Navy presence there, Pat, in the region to ensure those shipping lanes stay open.
They've got something called Karg Island, which is the main terminal for Iranian oil. And that's a very vulnerable thing, and it would be very easy for us to drop a few bombs on that terminal and put them out of business. And I think the Iranians are playing a very dangerous game. They're crowding into our ships. They're trying to be hostile, but they don't have near the firepower we do. And if they want to play tough, I think we ought to play tough right back. And it's time for them to stop bluffing, because what it is a big bluff. They have all these overblown items of rhetoric that they use. But in the final analysis, they will lose in any kind of a contest with the United States. And I think of course, the Straits of Hormuz have got to stay open. They can't, they could mine it and make it difficult for a short period of time. But so much oil comes down through that strait. You see where it is from the Persian Gulf. Maybe 60% of the world's oil comes through that strait. And it would be easy for them to interdict it, but it would also be easy for us to blow them out of the water. And it's something that we really have to do. John?
Pat, Iran is also looking to expand its presence in Syria. Its defense minister just signed a military and defense agreement with Syrian leaders. Troubling news for Israeli and American officials who want to expel Iranian troops from Syria and back behind their own borders. Chris Mitchell has a story from Jerusalem.
Iran's defense minister Amir Hatami led a high-level delegation to Syria that signed new military and defense agreements with the Assad regime. It's a signal Iran wants to maintain and even increase its military capabilities inside Syria. Yet Israel sees Iran's military presence inside Syria and on its northern border as a direct threat. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated repeatedly Iran's military presence inside Syria is a red line Israel won't tolerate. It's also a priority for the Trump administration.
This is a very delicate, very difficult situation in Syria, but one that we're not going to allow the Iranians to take advantage of.
The United States has been pressuring Iran to pull out its fighters from Syria, and U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton addressed the issue with reporters during his recent visit to Jerusalem.
That Iran obviously had a strategic plan to create an arc of control from Iran through the Shia areas of Iraq into Syria, linking up with Hezbollah in Lebanon. That's not something that we want to see.
Bolton also defended Israel's recent attacks against Iran forces inside Syria.
Every time Iran has brought missiles or other threatening weapons into Syria in recent months, Israel has struck those targets. I think that's a legitimate act of self-defense on the part of Israel.
Iran's defense minister said his country's presence inside Syria won't be dictated by a third party, and that they would continue to support the Assad regime. Iran has provided thousands of fighters in Assad's fight for survival against rebel forces. Their continued presence inside Syria sets up a showdown with Israel and the U.S. as the more than 7-year civil war is coming to an end. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. And Pat, you know that we've been reporting on Iran's expanding influence across the Middle East for some time.
Well, we have. And, you know, the thing that we need to remember, ladies and gentlemen, God's word will come to pass. It really will. I mean, we can report the news here as it's coming down the headlines. But the word of God is very significant. And I point to Ezekiel where it points out to an invasion of Israel in the, quote, latter days. It's a coalition that will include Persia, and it will include Turkey, and it will include the Caucasian region that is described as Rosh, which I don't think is Russia, but it's the Caucasus, where those Muslim people live. And then along in that will be the Sudan. So we're looking at a coalition against Israel in the latter days, and that coalition seems to be forming up, but it'll include what's called Persia. And you know, the people in Iran are wonderful people. They really are. They desire freedom, and they've been hijacked by that bunch of mullahs who have taken control. And it's a theocracy and it's a dictatorship, and they're under great pressure. And I knew the former Israeli ambassador to Persia who told me that, you know, my Persian people, they're good people, and they want to rebel. And so perhaps the college students and the workers and others will come together. But when they tried to get free of this, the Obama administration did nothing to help them. Trump is, but I think it's a little too late. But you know, this Bashar Assad, he's used chemical weapons against his own people. For a man who was trained as a medical doctor in Europe, to do the barbaric acts that he has done against his people is just appalling. And he needs to be overthrown. They should have moved him. He breached that so-called red line a long time ago. But are we going to do anything about Syria? I don't know, but something should be done, and it should be done fairly quickly. John?
Pat, North Korean officials are warning talks to rid that country of its nuclear weapons could fail. CNN reports that a letter was delivered to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo stating plans for denuclearization may, quote, fall apart. The letter reportedly said the process can't move forward because the United States is still not ready to meet Pyongyang's expectations for a peace treaty. Last week, President Trump directed Pompeo to delay his trip to North Korea because talks weren't moving quickly enough. Well, President Trump expressed thanks for John McCain's service to America last night. The remarks coming at a White House dinner for evangelical leaders. The president talked about his efforts to protect religious liberty and the need to rally voters to the polls in November. CBN's White House correspondent Ben Kennedy has the details from the North Lawn.
It was nothing short of a state dinner here at the White House, only the president wasn't honoring a foreign head of state, but evangelical leaders.
America is a nation of believers, and tonight we're joined by faith leaders.
Faith leaders like Reverend Franklin Graham and Pastor Paula White.
It's an honor to be here.
The president also took a moment to publicly express thanks for Senator John McCain's service to America.
Our hearts and prayers are going to the family of Senator John McCain. Going to be a lot of activity over the next number of days, and we very much appreciate everything that Senator McCain has done for our country.
Trump then turned to the dinner's purpose, honoring America's faith and freedom.
In recent years, the government tried to undermine religious freedom, but the attacks on communities of faith are over. We've ended it.
The commander-in-chief drummed up applause, highlighting efforts to combat religious persecution.
We brought home hostages from North Korea, including an American pastor, and we're fighting to release Pastor Brunson from Turkey, and we've made great progress.
Trump told the evangelical leaders it's imperative that people of faith vote in the midterms so that progress can continue.
They're facing the possibility of a Democrat Congress that, if they take control of the legislature, are going to either impeach this president from office or at least paralyze him while he's in office. And I think they rightly know evangelicals don't want either one of those things to happen.
Christians helped propel Trump into office in 2016, and this was one way of showing his appreciation for their contribution to American society, and also pledging to protect their rights so that work can continue.
The president just wanted to celebrate, and not just that, but what our churches and houses of worship do every day. To provide spiritual direction to the lost, to heal the brokenhearted, to save marriages and lives. That goes on every day in America.
The support you've given me has been incredible, but I really don't feel guilty because I have given you a lot back.
Faith leaders told CBN News the dinner was the president and First Lady's idea. Yes, it was a time to say thank you, but also that the work is not done. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, the White House.
Thanks, Ben. Pat, have you ever seen a dinner like this at the White House before?
Never, never, never. I've been to some of them when there were a lot of people there, but nothing like this where they honored just evangelicals. It's amazing. Well, the evangelicals voted 82% for Trump in that presidential election, and they have been loyal along to him. All the things that have swirled around him, the evangelicals are standing firm. Why? Because he has done more for evangelical Christianity than any president I have known in my lifetime. And it's remarkable what he's done, and the evangelicals are strongly with him. But the big thing are the courts, and he is changing the Supreme Court. He's changing the lower courts. There are a lot of things that have been done by the American Center for Law, for the ACLU, to strip away our religious freedom. And it's amazing where he's standing up for the rights of evangelicals. You cannot imagine the animus that there's been, like what we had with the IRS blocking people. The Federal Election Commission with Lois Lerner, when she was in there, she was just dead set against evangelicals, and they went all the way through the government. There was tremendous hostility to evangelicals. Now there's a new sheriff in town, and thank goodness he's doing a good job. So congratulations, Mr. President. All right.
Well, coming up, the Dead Sea is disappearing.
I want to see the Dead Sea restored. The purpose is to bring awareness to the Dead Sea and the way to save it.
Here's some of the ways to save the Dead Sea. That's coming up just ahead.
As our series on Israel has shown, the Israelis have done a marvelous job in water conservation. They are the leader in desalinization. As a matter of fact, they've got a big project going in California to take salt water and make it into fresh water. Israel is no longer deficient in water. It is actually exporting water. They've gotten what's called drip irrigation, which has been a wonder of the world. They have a reusable system where they reuse water and clean it and reuse it. It used to be a fight over the Jordan River. That was the big deal, as to whether the Arabs got it or whether the Israelis got it. But now they're way far down the road toward water sufficiency and actually exporting water. But the Dead Sea is a problem right now. It's a natural wonder. It's a popular tourist destination. But that great body of water is in danger of drying up. But as CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell shows us, there's a bold, innovative plan to save this historic body of water.
Sunrise over the Dead Sea, a soothing atmosphere, biblical landmark, and mineral treasure. It sits on the Great Rift Valley between Israel and Jordan. Fed by fresh water from the Jordan River and mineral springs, it's one of the saltiest lakes in the world. So salty, no fish can survive in it. Nominated as one of the 7 wonders of the world, the water, mud, and atmosphere have healing properties. But all this could disappear. The Dead Sea behind me is dropping 5 to 8 feet a year. That means the lowest place on Earth is getting even lower.
The reason is very, very simple. On one hand, there is all the time evaporation of water and the surface is very large. On the other hand, good water from the Upper Jordan were taken for irrigation, to develop agriculture, to develop food for the people, and they stopped reaching the Dead Sea. So the balance has changed.
Hebrew University professor Avner Adin says there's only one way to restore the sea.
What could save the Dead Sea is actually pouring water into the Dead Sea.
Adin told CBN News a combination of solutions is the only way to help.
One way, which is the natural one, meaning let the rivers flow into it. Don't take the water from the Jordan, from the other rivers, let it come back to its natural way. The other way is artificial, meaning making the Red to Dead Sea project come true.
Israel and Jordan signed the Red Dead Agreement to make a 140-mile canal from the Red Sea to the Dead Sea. The billion-dollar project begins with a desalination plant to provide much-needed water and power to Jordan, then would drop the remainder of the water into the Dead Sea.
Another way that in parallel could be done would be to take water from the Mediterranean and desalinate this water and give this water for drinking and for agriculture instead of taking the water from the Lake of Galilee and from the streams.
But Adine said it's not easy to get governments invested in saving it. That's why activists Jacob Ben-Zaken and Noam Bedin are sounding the alarm.
I want to see the Dead Sea restored.
Ben-Zaken from a nearby kibbutz gives the only boat ride available on the Dead Sea.
The purpose is to bring awareness to the Dead Sea, to the beauty, to everything that's going on, including the disappearing of the Dead Sea and the way to save it.
And it's working. Over a year ago, photojournalist Bedin took the boat tour.
And that touched me as an Israeli to speak up for this enchanted, prehistorical, biblical place, to stand up for it.
These salty pillars or chimneys may be stunning, but their appearance signals trouble. Bedin's photos show the drop in the water level in just 1 year.
I've been documenting this one-of-a-kind place like never before, going on this boat ride over a period of time and documenting the beauty, the magic of this place with the purpose to educate the next generation of this one-of-a-kind place, but also showing the dramatic changes that this place has been taking.
The drop has also caused huge sinkholes to open up along the shore, forcing beaches to close and a nearby road to collapse. The Dead Sea is a favorite tourist destination. It's so salty you can't sink, only float. But there's much more. In the Bible, a young David hid in the nearby caves of En-Gedi. The Dead Sea Scrolls were found in the Qumran caves, giving us the oldest manuscripts of the Bible. And the Dead Sea is actually giving life. The waters and air at the Dead Sea have special healing properties for skin and other ailments. And mineral mining yields potash, a key element for fertilizer used in agriculture to feed the world.
So it's a very special diamond that we should keep it.
Biblical prophets also said that the Dead Sea would go through a change when the Messiah returns. Ezekiel prophesied that one day the waters of the Great Salt Sea would be healed and teeming with fish. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the Dead Sea.
It's fascinating. Well, they've got to do it. Israel is a leader, as I said, in desalination. So they open a canal out of the Mediterranean, bring the water to the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is below the Mediterranean, so it would flow in, I think, naturally. And they desalinate the water as it comes in, so they've got plenty of drinking water to share with Jordan and Israel, and everybody prospers. So it's a good deal, but it'll cost several $1 billion.
Well, Israel has a gift for finding solutions.
They do that, but in water, they are the acknowledged leader in the world, and they're desalinating a big plant out in California. It's a big thing, because the shortage of water is upon us all around the globe. It's not just Israel. Terry, what you got next?
Well, up next, what to eat for a good night's sleep.
Number 1, herbs. Number 2, we need more vegetables. Number 3, we need more fruit, specifically berries. Berries are contain antioxidants and certain types of carbohydrates that can create a healthy night's sleep.
Learn how the best sleep begins in the kitchen when we come back.
Just put a plug in. Edie Wasserberg had Scott and me sit down in the studio, and we did what many people think is just really extraordinary revelation of how to get blessing and what prevents blessing in your life. Mm-hmm. And we all want it, so make sure you get a copy of that when the time comes. It's in September.
The 17th, right?
17th.
Starts the 17th, so it'll be available. Mm-hmm.
It'll be available. Not till then, however.
Yeah.
Then it'll be available.
We're going to whet your appetite
Whet
until
your
then,
appetite.
right?
All right.
Well, Dr. Josh Axe is a man on a mission to help the more than 60 million Americans who suffer from sleep disorders. And some of the best remedies are not in the bedroom, but in the kitchen. Here's Gordon with the second part of our 5-part series on how to protect your sleep.
The signs are all around us. It's the man at the traffic light yawning. It's a woman in a meeting at work fighting to keep her eyes open. And maybe it's you. Over 60 million Americans suffer from a sleep disorder. What might surprise you is some of the answers to your sleep problems aren't just in the bedroom. They're in your kitchen too.
You know, so if somebody is generally cranky, if people have bags under their eyes, if people have that rounded forward posture, those are all warning signs that, externally, that people aren't getting enough sleep.
Dr. Josh Axe is on a mission. Every day through his website, draxe.com, and his YouTube channel, he's sharing all-natural solutions to help people live healthier lives. He sees the high price people are paying because of their stress-filled lives, and Dr. Axe wants to change that.
If you think about it today, we are in traffic jams, we are stress at work, stress in family. Well, a lot of us have these really high levels of cortisol due to all of these stressors we have today, and that's really a big part of why people aren't getting enough sleep.
Our bodies aren't built for the pace of life that technology has brought us. It probably started when Thomas Edison introduced electric lights to streets and homes, and people have been losing sleep ever since. Today, people are overexposed to light by our always-on lifestyles. The result is our bodies aren't getting the restorative sleep that they need.
People had candlelight. That's a natural orange light that your brain doesn't react to as well, and you get sleepy. Our ancestors, they would go to bed an hour or two after the sun went down and wake up at sunrise, so they got plenty of sleep.
We're designed to work best when given enough time to rest and restore.
So when you're sleeping and your body isn't having to process food and be using energy to think and all these other interactions within your body, it is the time where your body is best able to repair, recover, and actually heal itself.
You can give yourself a head start to a good night's sleep. Surprisingly, it begins with overhauling your kitchen. Take some time to get rid of all the foods that are draining you of your sleep and replace them with foods that will charge up your life.
The big things we want to stay away from in terms of food, you want to stay away from sugar, refined grains, artificial sweeteners, hydrogenated oils, and any packaged processed foods.
Not only will these foods rob you of sleep, they've also been linked to chronic illnesses like heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and cancer. So if it comes in a package and has a list of ingredients a mile long, stay away. Here are foods that you want to add to your shopping list.
So number 1, herbs. Number 2, we need more vegetables. Number 3, we need more fruit, specifically berries. Berries contain antioxidants and certain types of carbohydrates that can create a healthy night's sleep. Number 4, nuts and seeds. Number 5 is going to be whole sprouted ancient grains like rice, oats, and quinoa.
Start adding healthy fats to your shopping cart. These fats are another important part of staying healthy and getting a good night's sleep.
So healthy fats can include avocados, coconut, wild-caught salmon, nuts and seeds like walnuts, chia, and flax seeds. These healthy fat foods are great for regulating hormones in your body.
Make sure you also add spices to your shopping cart. Cooking with spices is a simple way to stay healthy.
Turmeric is fantastic. In fact, there are more clinical and medical studies on turmeric proving its overall health benefits for reducing inflammation and supporting the brain and the gut than any other herb out there today. So turmeric is very high on this list. And then ginger. Ginger is anti-inflammatory and really one of the ultimate herbs for supporting your digestive system.
You might have heard that chicken soup is good for the soul. It's also great for your health. A study by the University of Nebraska Medical Center found that chicken broth helps boost your immune system. It also supports respiratory and digestive health, and that means more restorative sleep.
Now, bone broth is really high in collagen, which we all know is great for your skin, hair, nails, your joints, your immune system, your gut and digestive health. But also the amino acids in bone broth are great for supporting your body's sleep cycles, partly because of how it supports your gut and your neurological health.
Another food that is great for your gut and your brain is kale. It's been called a superfood, and there are many reasons why. Here's one of them. It's loaded with magnesium. Magnesium helps fight insomnia by calming your nervous system. So go green and add kale to your diet. After that, reward yourself with a piece of dark chocolate. It's high in magnesium too.
Number one, if you can't change your whole diet, just change breakfast. Think about this. If you just change your breakfast, you're changing 33% of your diet. Wake up in the morning and do a superfood smoothie. You know, 1 scoop of a collagen protein or a bone broth powder that's high in protein. And maybe a little bit of coconut milk and almond milk in there, cup of berries, a little bit of cinnamon. So do a superfood smoothie for breakfast.
Limit the amount of coffee you drink during the day. If you don't, you are sabotaging your sleep.
If you're having coffee after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, starting to get later in the day or especially at nighttime, even if you do fall asleep, that caffeine is keeping cortisol higher and it is affecting your sleep cycle. So coffee later in the day or lots of caffeine is a big no-no when it comes to getting quality sleep.
If you want to sleep like a baby at night, then you need to move your body during the day. Exercise is an important part of your health and primes your body for sleep.
If we don't move at all during the day and we're not working out at all, our body kind of says to itself, well, I didn't do much today, so my sleep tonight isn't as crucial. So exercise, listen, whether you go in the gym and lifting weights or on the treadmill, or you just go for a 20-minute walk outside, that's great as well.
As your day comes to an end, be sure your bedroom is a sanctuary for sleep. Here's a list to help create the perfect sleep environment. Keep it clean and quiet. Get rid of all electronic devices. That includes a TV. Use a bed that is not too firm and not too soft. Set the temperature below 70 degrees. And use an essential oil diffuser.
You know, one of the number one things I recommend all my patients do to get a better night's sleep is start using essential oils. You know, essential oils are referenced more than 300 times in the Bible. My 3 favorite essential oils to get a better night's sleep are going to be lavender, Roman chamomile, and holy basil.
Don't lose another night of sleep. Start making changes to your diet today. Go for a walk outside with a friend. Remember, life is a gift from God. He wants you to experience a life that is abundant and full. You can with a perfect night's sleep.
Tomorrow, in part 3 of our Protect Your Sleep series, you're going to learn about the silent killer, sleep apnea. And we want you to know that you can own this entire 5-part series so that you can keep this information before you. We'll send you this free Protect Your Sleep DVD or booklet. In it, you'll learn how to get a perfect night's sleep, how to stop insomnia, relieve pain, and protect against sleep apnea. And there's so much more. All you have to do to receive this is just call 1-800-700-7000 or visit cbn.com to request your free Protect Your Sleep DVD or booklet. Just indicate which you would prefer to have. Well, still ahead, Minnesota's starting pitcher Kyle Gibson reveals what's going through his mind every time he takes the hill.
They said, listen, we know that you're a man of faith, and those things don't have to separate. Sometimes having that little competitive edge isn't a bad thing.
The Twins ace takes us inside the game within the game when we come back.
Welcome back to the 700 Club. More than 100 years after the Ku Klux Klan held a major rally at the top of Georgia's Stone Mountain, hundreds of Christians from across races and denominations gathered there to denounce racism. Making the climb to the top of the mountain Saturday, participants in the event dubbed One Race took part in a day of reconciliation, prayer, and worship. Attendees say the experience was a step toward fulfilling the will of Jesus.
Jesus did say this, that the world will know that we are his disciples when we love each other and we are one. And so this is God's heart, his desire for us to be one race.
Pastors at the event signed the Atlanta Covenant, vowing to stand against racism and Christian disunity. Well, famed NASA mathematician Katherine Johnson just took her 100th trip around the sun. Long before there were computers, Dr. Johnson calculated the trajectory for America's first trip to space by hand. And Saturday, to coincide with her 100th birthday, her alma mater, West Virginia State University, unveiled a statue of her on campus. Johnson's remarkable story was featured in the hit movie Hidden Figures. She and many other black women were part of what was called the computer pool at NASA and played a pivotal role in America's leap into space.
Dr. Katherine Johnson is a wonderful example of what can be achieved if you don't let any of those thoughts hold you back. And if you can't believe in the impossible, you can believe in a Dr. Katherine Coleman Goebel Johnson.
Amazing life and legacy. Well, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website, that's cbnnews.com. Pat and Terry will be back with more of today's 700 Club right after this.
Kyle Gibson's slider has been called one of the, quote, sneakiest pitchers in all of baseball. But Kyle's quick to say that he needs more than that to succeed in the pros. Recently, he was joined in the Twins dugout by CBN's Tom Bury, and Kyle told him about getting ready for each game.
Kyle Gibson doesn't just make his pitch. The Minnesota Twins starting pitcher targets the game inside the game, arming his heart, mind, and emotion while the 6-year veteran takes the stage in baseball's performance-based business.
From the time where I'm sitting in my locker when I'm listening to worship music, honestly, and really trying to make sure that my heart's in the right spot, I always feel like that circle out there, it's not who I am, it's just part of what I'm here to do. And I'm going to face a lot of situations throughout the game that if my heart's not in the right spot, the decision I make is probably going to be a bad decision.
What you said for what you might face, do I then presume that that's anxiety?
Sure.
Is that fear?
It's all the above, you know. It's a stressful situation where if you're not prepared for it, you could make the wrong decision pitch-wise. It could be, you know, maybe you have to show grace after an error in the field, or you have to, you know, show a little bit of humility after a home run. You just want to make sure that your mind and heart's in the right spot.
Next to the arm, what is its most critical component to be a successful starting pitcher?
If you talk to 10 people, you might get 10 different answers. You know, I think the legs are important. I think, you know, the torso is important. Over the last year and a half, I really kind of feel like the mind is probably the next important thing. You know, you can feel as good as you want, but if you get that mind right, it just changes everything. You can have the confidence behind what you're doing, and if I don't have the confidence in the pitch that I'm going to be throwing, I might as well not throw it.
What do you think would surprise us the most?
How sometimes it's difficult to handle situations that you can't control. In this park in the summer, obviously you can't control which way the wind is blowing. And sometimes a routine fly ball to right becomes a home run, and sometimes a home run to left becomes a routine fly ball. So once you throw the ball, you can't control if that umpire misses the call or gives you a call. Being able to handle those situations constantly that you have no control over is pretty tough.
Has that been helpful for you in your Christ following?
In times, I think it's just like a lot of things in life. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. You know, it's really my love from Christ that helps me in those other situations. It's the grace that He's given me that allows me to hopefully show grace most of the time on the mound and do that in my relationship, you know, versus practicing that on the mound and taking it home.
And as soon as you release that ball, there is that surrender.
Yeah, you have to be able to be okay sometimes with results that aren't what you planned on. And one of them is you can easily get caught up in numbers in this game. And it's easy to look at yourself as an ERA or a strikeout total and kind of determine your worth.
How have you been freed from that?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. One of the lies that, you know, has been tough for me to get rid of, but I've had to get rid of is I can't think of myself as an ERA or even a jersey number or anything like that because it's just a lie. My identity is in Christ, and that's really my identity. You have to be able to leave those lies behind because the more you start believing in those lies, the less you're going to believe in the actual truths about yourself.
What does the Christ follower and the elite competitor have in common?
I think they can have everything in common. Paul is one of my favorite guys to read from the Bible just because of everything he went through. And he talked multiple times about running the race, and everybody that runs the race is supposed to run to win. You complete it as if you're completing a task from God. There was a couple times where I started showing a little bit more emotion on the field. And one talk that I had with our GM and another one of our front office, and they said, listen, we know that you're a man of faith, and those things don't have to separate. I think they're as intertwined as you want them to be. Walk off the mound and do everything with as much love as possible, and sometimes having that little competitive edge isn't a bad thing.
Got to get you a tearaway jersey.
Yeah, that's
right. That'd go over well.
Possibly not, but I like it.
Possibly not. I have a lot of explaining to do. I've noticed when you sign, you will add a scripture. What is that scripture and why?
It's Ephesians 2:8-10. As good of representation of the gospel and what I'm really trying to do in life as I found. For it is by grace you've been saved through faith, not of works, so that no one can boast. It's a gift from God. We are God's handiwork, created by Him to do the good works that He set out in advance for us to do. This is what I'm here to do. I've been put here to put this verse and to do the work that God set out in advance for me to do.
What an amazing man. I mean, isn't that remarkable?
It's a lot of pressure, in a
but
position that he's
grounded.
in. But
He knows the scripture. He knows what life's all about.
Keeps your head on straight.
All right, what you got next?
Well, still ahead, we've got your answer, your questions, and Pat's honest answers. Missy asks this: how do we know when God is saying no to our prayer request? Pat's going to answer that and lots more, and it's all coming up. Renzel is only 4 years old, and already he knows that eating his vegetables is good for him. But not long ago, Renzel was suffering from malnutrition because some days all his family had to eat was just a little bit of rice.
4-year-old Renzel knows exactly how to cheer up his grandma after a hard day's work.
When she is tired, I wipe her face.
Nita has been raising her grandson since he was a year old, after his father died and his mother abandoned him. Grandma gives Renzel all the love he needs, but most days she can't give him enough to eat.
He has very little energy.
Every morning, Grandpa Rico returns from fishing with squid to sell. On a good day, they earn about $4. On other days, they earn only enough for a little rice. Then Nita heard about CBN's Orphan's Promise. Working through a church, we provide lunch for Renzel and other needy children.
Vegetables are good for my eyes.
We also give Renzel vitamins and regular medical checkups.
He has gained weight and has more energy. His skin looks better too.
Finally, to bring in a little extra income, we gave the grandparents a pig to raise and sell.
Once the piglet has grown, we'll sell it and buy 2 more to save for our grandson's future. Thank you so much for all the help you've given us.
Do you know that when you join the 700 Club, you touch so much need all around the world? You're joining with thousands of other people, and that's why it works. And today, we wanted to show you just one story of how you're making a difference. Orphan's Promise is CBN's outreach to orphaned and vulnerable children around the world, but you're also doing life-saving surgeries, you're doing community transformations, seeds, something to eat every day, providing food for people. In everything that we do, whether it's drilling a water well or building a school, you are also bringing the message of God's love. And it becomes a reality when your giving meets the need of somebody who really just can't make it on their own. Grandma Nita and her husband love love Renzel. They just couldn't afford to give him what he needed nutritionally, and they didn't have what they needed to prosper as a family. It took so little to do that. Join the 700 Club. It's 65 cents a day, $20 a month, and our number's even toll-free. It couldn't be easier. You call 1-800-700-7000. Just say, I want to join the 700 Club. We'll gladly welcome you to the family of ministries here. And if you'd like to be a part of what we're doing for children around the world, you can designate your gift for Orphan's Promise. And we say thank you in advance for your compassion, for your kindness, and for your generosity as well. So please call now. Got some questions. You ready?
Take them. Let's go.
Okay. This is from Missy, who says, how do we know when God is saying no to our prayer request? I've been praying for a relationship restoration for quite some time now, and I'm not sure if God's saying no or wait. I do get random phone calls from the person I want to be reconciled with, but they are few and far between. The conversations are light and casual, and they never go where I want them to go. I feel like if I reach out myself, I might be getting in God's way, but at the same time, I wouldn't want him to meet someone else and get married to them without knowing that I still want to be with him. And right now, he doesn't know that. Whew.
I don't think you're looking at God to say no. I think what we're looking for is you to say yes. You know, we somehow think that people are mind readers and that they understand what's in our hearts, and they really don't. So it doesn't hurt just to say, look, I really, in this case, I love you, and I really would like to spend some time with you. And, you know, then if the guy says, hey, no way, Jose.
There's your answer.
Then you've got your answer.
Exactly.
This isn't that. When do you know when God says no? It's you. You've got to move. You know, as I think was it Moody or one of the guys who was praying. He said, "Look, I pray as if everything depends on God, and I work as if everything depends on me." And I think that's the thought. I mean, we do everything we can within our strength, but we really must trust God, and that's what we're talking about. All right?
Okay, this is Gary, who says, would you please explain the statement, you can't outgive God? It sounds like a ludicrous statement because it all belongs to God anyway. Apart from him giving to us, we don't have anything to give. It's impossible to even try to outgive God.
I think your analysis is very profound. But I mean, people are just, it's just a slang expression. Like, we think I've given all I can give. and what they're saying, look, you can't, in your own strength, you can't outgive what God's going to give you. That's what it means. Of course, what you said is much more profound, and but they're not thinking profound. That's just a slang expression.
Mm-hmm. Right. This is Joe. The four Gospels of Jesus Christ have four different stories of what happened. Which one do we actually know is true?
Well, you know, if you read those documentary people, they said there was something called the quella or source, the Q. It's felt that Mark's Gospel was closer to it, and the others sort of branched off of him. But the synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, pretty much have the same story. They have the same miracles, the same parables, and so forth. John is in a different tenure. It's kind of like he's leading you into the Holy of Holies with the Lord and his prayers and so forth. It's a little different. But they're all gospel, and they're all coordinated. When you read them as a unit, I think you'll find that they hang together. That there's
they reinforce each other, really. They reinforce
absolutely.
each other.
Absolutely. There's no hostility between them, yeah.
This is an interesting one, Pat. This is from Walter, who says, I am a Christian. I've always believed the fact that God exists and his son Jesus, my Lord. However, I feel I'm drifting off this faith because I'm believing instead of knowing. How can I know him instead?
I think you can know him. What has he said? Yeah, he cared for the poor and the needy. This is to know me, says the Lord. I think when we reach out to those who are less fortunate, when we are his hand extended, when we lead people to the Lord, then all of a sudden we begin to experience his relationship. Well, that's all the time we've got. Today's Power Minute is from the book of Psalms. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Well, tomorrow we're going to be talking about sleep apnea, one more thing in this sleep series. I hope it's of help to you. But thank you so much for being with us. So from all of us, Terry and me, I think you'll be here tomorrow.
I'm not here tomorrow, no.
Well,
actually, I think you're here tomorrow.
Well,
I think you're here tomorrow.
I'm here
tomorrow.
Wednesday. Right? One of us will be here tomorrow, so
Somebody will
we'll
be
see
here.
you then. Bye-bye.